What's up, guys? I wanted to make this video today so I can kind of explain and kind of hopefully I can teach or inspire some of you guys on the things that I did to be able to afford my dream car. So that was the first thing. I'm trying to make it really tangible and easy for you guys to implement yourselves immediately. I don't really like videos where it's like a whole bunch of fluff. I like motivational videos, don't get me wrong, and I like inspirational videos, but I also like to give you guys things where you can just get in, copy it, do it yourself, get in quickly, start making money immediately. So step number one, the first thing that I did, I already had a job. So I was working at Ulta Beauty at that time, nearly full-time, not necessarily full-time. I was working overnight from 10 to 6 a.m. I'll say every 4 days, but I take that back. I actually worked 5 days out the week, so I don't necessarily remember how much income that was, but that was the first thing. I already had one job. Now, this video is going to be more applicable to people who are not in the high school anymore. If you're no longer in the high school, this is much easier for you. If you are in high school, it's still possible. However, you're kind of constricted with your time and where you have to be in your location. But yeah, so step one, I already had one job. Step two, this is like the hardest part. You kind of have to develop your own business to a sense. In a sense, you have to think about what can you do immediately, what assets, what skills, what abilities do you have, ways that you can make money legally within like right now, within a short amount of time. So for me, I kind of wrote out all of my skills. Of course, I had like business, sales, marketing, graphic design, all kind of things. And I was like, most of those things that I was trying to do would take time to get set up and time to get clients together. I mean, now I already still do those things. I still have those businesses, they run, and I'm working with clients. But at that time, I was thinking more like, I need money right now. I need to do something right now. So what can I do right now? So at that time, the first thing I thought about was, hey, I already have a car. At that time, I was driving a Dodge Charger. Before I totaled it, of course, but I had a Dodge Charger. So I was like, okay, what can I do with this Dodge Charger? So the first thing I signed up for, DoorDash. Most people don't really like to do DoorDash, but I think DoorDash is a great opportunity for people who have a lot of free time and you're in a location where DoorDash is actually doable. I live in a place called Darlington, South Carolina, which is a small town, and I just traveled over to Florence, and DoorDash was really doable there. And outside of that, when I had more free time, when I was more ambitious, I would drive to places like Columbia, Charlotte, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, different places to do DoorDash as well. And the second thing that I did outside of that was sign up for this place called Courier. There's an app called Courier. And essentially what that is, you're a courier driver, and you will kind of go pick up things for people from Walmart. You'll pick up things from Walmart, Sam's, Lowe's, Home Depot, and you kind of go through like a different type of background check, get your motor vehicle report checked, and you would deliver it to people's houses or businesses for a fee. So sometimes you'll have loads, they're called loads because it's kind of like truck driving. You have loads are for like $10 for a couple miles, $20, $30, $40, all the way up to like $200, $300, $400, depending on the distance and how far you're actually traveling. So for me with Courier, I rarely travel anywhere far. So my biggest package was like $20. So like that was basically what I was doing for like that good bit of time using those apps. You make a good bit of money on those apps if you kind of cycle them, because there's like peak times for everything, so you kind of have to plan out the peak time in your area for DoorDash, the peak time in your area for Courier, the peak time in your area for like, what's the other one? It's like iShopper or something like that, where you shop online, like you go shop for people. I tried that, didn't really like it, didn't really work. I don't like going and picking out shit for people, especially because they have their own personal and like the things that they like to use for themselves and personal products. So me picking up their items and deliver it to them, that was easy enough for me, and I'm used to it. So that's kind of what I want to stay on. So I would say step number 3, in the way that I did it. Of course, you may have a different situation, so you may have better things or different things that you're able to do right now. Like, for instance, you have a lawnmower and you know people who have grass that's not cut. I would recommend trying to go around the neighborhood asking, can you cut their grass, and how much would they charge? Cut their grass for free for the first time. Always lead with value. Don't try to like charge anything absurd, or if you see people charging $150 for this lawn, you might want to, since you're starting out, you might want to go up there charging $50, or after your first one, try to always do your first one free so everyone can kind of get a taste or like a trial of your skill. Promote yourself make sure your time is not really that valuable at this point because we don't really have much money. So our time is not valuable. For broke, our time is not valuable. So we cannot act like I'm not going to cut this lawn, take an hour for $50. That's $50 an hour that you don't make at Waffle House or wherever the hell you're at. No diss to those jobs, but you just have to think of it as in like this is a business, and if you're working a job for this many hours, say if you make that same $50 for 8 hours working at Waffle House, you would probably have a whole different lifestyle. So sometimes you kind of have to like humble yourself a bit to kind of take on things and jobs that you don't feel like, you don't feel like they're worth your time. However, you have to attack every opportunity at all times, like every opportunity at all times. That's my other recommendation for that. So yeah, try to find something that you can do. So for me, it was my car. I had a car. We didn't have a lawnmower. I couldn't cut grass, so I had my car. So the third thing that I did, meaning that I had my car, I signed up for a company called Pace Runners. Now, Pace Runners is essentially your delivery driver for Advanced Auto Parts. So what you would do is you go to the hub in their local city. So for me, the hub is in Florence, South Carolina. I would deliver all throughout Florence, down to Lamar. Sometimes I would get shipped to other places. So I would deliver to like Lake City. I would go to Myrtle Beach's hub, and I would deliver from Myrtle Beach. So I would go to like Conway, Aner, Carolina Forge, delivering different parts to different Advanced Auto Parts from the Advanced Auto Parts hub. So you're basically like a truck driver for real, but you're using your car. So like those are okay. They give you routes. You can kind of, if there's an opening in your city, I recommend it. I mean, your routes sometimes pay like, on average, like $110 to $150 a day, but that's not including your gas. They do have an option to give you a gas card if you want one. I never used it. I have a couple of them from them. I never used them myself, so I don't know how that works, but that was a thing that was pretty good. But I would recommend, if you're going to go with Pace Runners, try your best to get it's called the PDQ, stands for pretty damn quick, and those are overnight routes. So if you're driving overnight, you get paid more for driving overnight, and those routes are kind of shorter, less traffic because it's overnight, and they pay a lot more. So for instance, me, when I drove PDQs, I didn't have them in the Florence area, so I had to drive from Charleston. So they kind of tried to actually kick me off from using it, stop me from being a PDQ driver, because for one, Charleston for me is like 2.5 hours away. So they had to compensate me from driving those 2.5 hours over there. Then once I get there, then I have to drive the route all through like Lansing and Goose Creek, and like basically it was like a whole 4-hour route. Their day normally as a PDQ driver only like 4 to 6 hours. Now, if you like me, I sped a lot. So I would finish my route in like 4.5 hours. It's supposed to take you like 6 to 7 hours, but I kind of learned the roads, and I was lucky to be in the country in the back roads where I can just weave through it and then I get out in the cities. But you would drive overnight, you deliver all your stuff and go back to the hub to make sure you didn't have anything delivered back to the hub. If you don't, most of the time as a PDQ, you don't have anything to take back to the hub because no one's there. But yeah, so those are pretty good. I ended up going from like $150 a day with that before PDQs to like $350, $400 a day at times. So I had weeks driving PDQs where I would be making $350 a day for 5 days straight. So, but that's all 1099 work. So that's a whole different type of tax form. So if you're doing that, please study up on your tax forms. And I really recommend you having an accountant, or first, before you even have an accountant, sign up for QuickBooks. Get a QuickBooks account or a Mint account. That's kind of how you're going to be able to track all of your finances, all your expenses. I use QuickBooks specifically for the mileage tracker. Now, as of 2023, 2022, and 2020, counted this year, I think 2024 as well, you get paid more of a write-off. So if you track by miles versus getting tracked by the amount of money you spend in gas. So I always use QuickBooks for my mileage tracker. I drove like 400 miles a day, so you do the math. I think it's 60 cents a mile. I think it was 60 cents a mile at that time. So I'm driving 400 miles a day, getting paid $400. I can write off 60% of my $400. I'm driving 400 miles a day to make it basically easy, so everyone can understand it. So always make sure you have that. You keep your receipts for you buying food. Keep your receipts if you're buying like any equipment for your car, anything you're trying to do, so you can use your tax write-offs. I know I'm saying a lot to you guys right now really fast, but I kind of want to make sure you guys have a kind of well-rounded look at things. So make sure you have all your tax write-offs in order and your mileage trackers even if you are or you are not even doing like courier work, make sure you have a QuickBooks account so you can really see and study and analyze your finances. You can know what's coming in, what's going out, how much, what percentages, how you can save money, where you can cut, how you can budget, everything. So yeah, so that's kind of what I did. So I kind of, for my step 3, I drove for Pace. That was a cool little 4 months until I hit a deer and totaled my car. So yeah, now I want to say step number 4. Step number 4 for me is I technically am still the marketing director and the sales director for a specific company, and we based out of Atlanta. We offer security guard services, so I'm a sales and marketing director for that company. So what that consists of me making all the advertisements, doing all the sales calls, fulfilling all the RFPs, building all the sales team. So building out the sales team, building out the sales team structures. Now that involves when I said find skills that you have. I've been doing digital marketing and sales since I was a freshman in high school, trying to sell e-commerce clothes, doing drop shipping. So I've been training myself and learning myself and engulfing myself in that industry for a really long time. So it wasn't really hard for me once someone said they needed help with something to jump in and be able to help. Also, the first year I graduated high school, I got a job at a SaaS company, at a tech company in sales, and they got promoted into marketing as well. So with that kind of background, it was kind of easier for me to like, okay, well, I can do this X, Y, and Z. I know how to do this X, Y, and Z, and then prove myself to them by doing it first. I did it first before telling them I could do it, so it's kind of easier. So like, I didn't tell them, I showed them. That makes sense. So I was working with that company. I still am working with that company at the time. So I was working 4 jobs while doing that. That company is based out of Atlanta, so it was remote for me unless I had to physically go to Atlanta to work and do different things and different meetings. So with that being said, that company is the main reason why I ended up getting this car, because I took all the income from that company, which was pretty good at the time. So all the income for that company, and that just covered this one specific car payment. So at the time I had around 4 different streams of income, but my car engulfed 2 of them. So that's kind of actually scary at a point. You don't want to have 2 streams of income relying in one thing, but I kind of did. So that's what I was doing. So once my car went down, you can obviously see that those 2 income streams went down as well. I ended up getting this car, which in hindsight was a kind of bad decision if I wanted to keep those businesses going, but I didn't. I was in there like working 16 hours a day. I would work 8 hours and I would drive for 8 hours, sleep for 4 hours because I had to do a meeting 2 more hours, and then the people I was working with for the security guard services company was in the West Coast, so I was 3 hours ahead of them, so I had to stay up even later to answer their calls. So I didn't really like that dynamic as much. I mean, I'm all for, I like the dynamic of working with people in the West Coast and different things, different areas, but I didn't like having to do meetings while I'm driving, as well as relying on my car, because if my car went down, then a lot of my income was gone. But we're talking about how you guys can kind of get as much money as quick as possible. So those are the 4 ways that I was able to afford my dream car. I didn't really get too much into detail about the 4th option because that's kind of confidential, since I'm working for a company and that's a different type of thing. But you ultimately can start your own small business online, though, preferably an online business. Find something that you're good at. Now I would say good at versus like. Good at because you can succeed better in something you're good at than you like. Ultimately, you want something that you like and enjoy to be your long-term goal and passion. But if you're trying to make money right now, like at the exact moment, play to your strengths at all times, play to your assets at all times, and then ultimately pivot. So for instance, I'm extremely good at sales and marketing. So I would ultimately, like I have right now, I have a sales software company. So I use my sales and marketing for software company, my sales and marketing software company, and I also pivot because I also like content creation, music, and all the other things. So I also have a pivot goal though, but it's not, you don't pivot immediately. You kind of make sure you have something going first before you pivot, so that you have momentum, because momentum and speed is just the key to all business in general. Your speed to market and your speed to adapt and speed to change. So as I was saying, make sure you create yourself a small online business if you can. You can go from selling clothes, you can go from selling your artwork, If you're good at making logos, make some logos for people. If you're good at talking, do voiceovers, do reactions. If you feel like you have no skills whatsoever, DM your favorite TikToker, DM your favorite influencer, and ask them, can you become like a clipper for them? So what that means is you go, as you're watching your favorite content creators, clip parts of their streams, and post them on your social, not yours, but you make a social media account dedicated for that. Post them on those while those grow and go viral. Those content creators, you helping them grow, and ultimately they'll want to pay you for helping them grow. Things like that. Those are like not extremely high skill jobs and not extremely technically savvy, but you can still get them done and make money off of them. So those are my 4 main ways right now. I ultimately plan on making the video going into better detail and more structured, but I'm currently checking on my grandmother. She just had surgery, so I wanted to get in here and make this quick video and then get out of here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give me a like if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.